Bridget Jones's Diary became a cultural phenomenon when it debuted in 2001, blending sharp British humor with the messy, lovable charm of its unforgettable heroine. Over the years, the film's stars, from the awkwardly endearing Bridget to the reserved Mark Darcy and the mischievous Daniel Cleaver, have remained etched in the memories of fans worldwide. More than 2 decades later, audiences are still curious to see how these actors have grown, changed, and continue to shine both on and off the screen. From award-winning careers and surprising transformations to personal milestones that shaped their paths, the journey of the Bridget Jones's Diary cast is as fascinating as the story that made them famous. Join us as we explore the beloved actors then and now and rediscover the magic behind this timeless rom-com classic. Celia Imrie played Una Alconbury, a recurring and formidable family friend who represents the established, socially demanding middle-class circle that Bridget desperately tries and consistently fails to navigate, with grace starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary 2001. Imrie was 49 years old when she took on the humorous yet crucial role. Una was characterized by her piercing and often indiscreet curiosity, her relentless adherence to high social expectations, and her marked tendency to frequently and often hilariously embarrass Bridget by openly discussing her weight, her perpetually single status, and her chaotic dating life during prominent social gatherings, most notably the annual iconic turkey curry buffet. Her life was firmly defined by the strict social codes and traditions of the home counties, establishing her as a formidable, if sometimes ludicrous, pillar of the community, who both enforced and judged conformity, placing significant palpable pressure on Bridget to meet the deeply ingrained societal standards expected of a woman her age. Una's role provided essential comic relief, her intrusive commentary serving as a constant reminder of Bridget's perceived failures, and was instrumental in highlighting the profound awkwardness and debilitating anxiety Bridget felt in formal social encounters, effectively emphasizing the external pressures placed upon single professional women in their 30s. Celia Imrie, currently 73, has enjoyed a long and deeply celebrated career in British film and television, known for her sharp comedic timing and versatile roles in popular productions, such as Calendar Girls and The Best Exotic Marigold Hotel. Her precise, funny, and slightly alarming portrayal of Una perfectly encapsulated the subtly toxic, yet often humorously well-meaning social scrutiny that Bridget was constantly forced to endure. Renee Zellweger played Bridget Jones, the lovable, self-deprecating heroine who captured the zeitgeist of women navigating their messy 30s, starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary 2001. Zellweger was 32 years old when she took on the iconic role, a performance that required her to adopt an English accent and gain weight, demonstrating her intense commitment to embodying the character created by author Helen Fielding. Bridget was characterized by her endearing honesty, her struggles with self-improvement, particularly her weight-smoking and drinking habits, and her chaotic navigation of a demanding career as an editorial assistant and an even more demanding and often disastrous dating life. Her life before the events of the film was meticulously documented in her private diary, defined by a steady stream of ambitious self-help resolutions, chronic professional stress, and a profound yet often humorous longing for a genuine romantic partner who wouldn't judge her flaws, setting the stage for the tumultuous year that followed. Bridget's central arc revolves around her entanglement in a complicated love triangle involving her charming but dangerously inappropriate boss, Daniel Cleaver, and the reserved, principled human rights barrister Mark Darcy, an endless source of comedy and dramatic tension. Zellweger received significant critical acclaim, including an Academy Award nomination for her transformative performance, capturing the character's unique blend of awkwardness, vulnerability, and underlying strength, which instantly cemented Bridget as an iconic figure in romantic comedy cinema. Renee Zellweger, currently 56, has maintained a highly successful career, famously returning to the role in subsequent sequels and earning further acclaim and an Oscar in other projects. Her honest and humorous portrayal resonated deeply with a global audience for its candid examination of modern single life's imperfections. Jim Broadbent played Colin Jones, Bridget's fundamentally supportive, kind-hearted, and perpetually long-suffering father, starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary 2001. Broadbent was 52 years old when he took on the central role of the stabilizing patriarch. Colin was instantly characterized by his quiet, unassuming demeanor, his deep reserves of patience, and his unwavering love for both his eccentric wife Pamela and his chaotic daughter Bridget. His life was rooted in a quiet, stable, middle-class existence in the English countryside, and he devoted himself to being a patient husband and a deeply understanding father, making him the necessary emotional anchor that counterbalanced the flamboyant eccentricities and dramatic social climbing of his wife. Colin's primary role in the narrative was to provide an essential layer of warmth and quiet wisdom, often serving as Bridget's confidant and protector, offering sensible advice amidst the chaos of her career and romantic misadventures. He was the moral antithesis of the show's more dramatic, self-serving characters, representing the simple, enduring values of kindness and loyalty. His character arc included the emotional strain of dealing with Pamela's midlife crisis and subsequent affair, allowing Broadbent to portray both understated humor and genuine heartbreak. Jim Broadbent, currently 75, is a highly acclaimed Academy Award-winning actor, known for his versatile roles across stage and screen, including films like Iris and Moulin Rouge. His portrayal of Colin Jones ensured that the chaotic world of Bridget Jones was grounded in a foundation of genuine familial affection and enduring paternal support. Gemma Jones portrayed Pamela Jones, Bridget's well-meaning but often overwhelmingly meddling mother, in the film Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. Jones was 58 years old when she took on the role of the quintessential English middle-class matriarch from the home counties. Pamela was characterized by her dramatic flair, her obsession with social standing, her constant intrusive attempts to set up Bridget with suitably eligible bachelors, and her own profound midlife crisis, which provided significant humor and reflected the generational quirks of middle-class family life. Her life was historically defined by the social rituals of the home counties, focusing intensely on maintaining respectable appearances, hosting elaborate annual events like the infamous turkey curry buffet, and navigating a marriage to her husband Colin that had become stagnant and dull, an environment that ultimately led her to seek excitement through chaotic extramarital affairs and ambitious social schemes. Pamela's persistent meddling served as both a constant source of profound exasperation for Bridget and an often hilarious reflection of the social pressures facing women across both generations. Jones's skilled performance successfully balanced the character's often misguided intentions with her fundamental maternal warmth and dramatic emotional ventures. Gemma Jones, currently 81, has had a long and deeply celebrated career on stage and screen, appearing in numerous notable projects, including the Harry Potter series and Sense and Sensibility. Her portrayal provided the vital, often chaotic familial background against which Bridget's own romantic and professional struggles were measured, underscoring the universal truth that family is often the most enduring source of both discomfort and unconditional love. Charmian May played Mrs. Darcy, the mother of the reserved but highly principled barrister Mark Darcy, starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. May was 67 years old when she took on the small yet symbolically pivotal role. Mrs. Darcy was characterized by her subtle aristocratic air, her adherence to high social standards, and her apparent disapproval of Bridget during their initial, highly awkward social encounters, particularly when confronted with Bridget's chaotic persona at the infamous turkey curry buffet. Her life was firmly rooted in the high social strata and traditional customs of the English gentry, defined by strict adherence to tradition, etiquette, and the maintenance of rigid class boundaries, which naturally instilled in her a protective, slightly judgmental demeanor towards outsiders like Bridget, who did not conform to the conservative expectations of her circle. Though her screen time was inherently limited, her presence was absolutely crucial in adding necessary social context and depth to Mark Darcy's privileged family background, subtly explaining both his reserved, emotionally guarded nature and the immense societal pressures he faced to uphold his family's respected reputation. Charmian May had a distinguished career as a character actress in British television and a film notably known for her classic portrayal of social figures, including her memorable role in the beloved sitcom The Good Life. Sadly, Charmian May passed away on October 24, 2002, at the age of 68 due to complications stemming from cancer. tragically shortly after the film's release and before the sequels were developed. Her brief but memorable portrayal effectively captured the quiet, formidable social expectations that haunted both Bridget and her son Mark, underscoring the formidable hurdles Bridget had to overcome to gain acceptance. James Faulkner portrayed Uncle Jeffrey, a prominent and recurring figure within Bridget's chaotic social circle, an extended family starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. Faulkner was 53 years old when he took on the supporting role. Uncle Jeffrey was instantly characterized by his smooth, sometimes overtly flirtatious and slightly lecherous demeanor, and his stable position as an elder statesman and established authority figure within Bridget's family and broader social sphere. His life was deeply rooted in the affluence and unearned social privilege of the home counties, which afforded him a comfortable lifestyle and an often condescending, patronizing view of the younger generation's emotional and professional struggles, yet his own personal moral conduct was revealed to be highly questionable, which contributed significantly to the film's sharpest satirical humor. Jeffrey's character contributed profoundly to the film's satirical take on the profound hypocrisy of middle-class family life and the stringent but easily skirted societal expectations. His role became particularly key when he was unwillingly entangled in Pamela Jones's dramatic midlife crisis and subsequent chaotic extramarital affairs, showcasing the absurdity lurking beneath the veneer of respectability. James Faulkner, currently 77, has had a long and highly varied career, often portraying authoritative, aristocratic, or sometimes morally gray figures, and is well known for later roles in high-profile series like Game of Thrones and Da Vinci's Demons. His nuanced portrayal of Uncle Jeffrey added an element of wry, dark humor and successfully underscored the idea that the seemingly respectable, judgmental older generation was often just as messy, flawed, and morally compromised as the struggling heroine Bridget herself. Paul Brook played Mr. Fitzherbert, Bridget Jones's highly pompous, bureaucratic, and often oblivious boss at the publishing company, starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. Brook was 57 years old when he took on the supporting role. Mr. Fitzherbert was characterized by his fussy mannerisms, his strict adherence to office hierarchy, and his complete lack of awareness regarding the emotional and professional chaos unfolding among his subordinates, particularly the sexual tension between Bridget and Daniel Cleaver. His life was seemingly dedicated to climbing the middle rungs of the bureaucratic ladder within the publishing world, establishing him as a man consumed by mundane professional rules and hierarchy, often oblivious to the real human drama, making him a figure of unintentional comedy. The character added crucial comic tension and was instrumental in highlighting Bridget's persistent struggles in the workplace, showcasing the daily professional indignities she faced while balancing her personal life. His reaction to Bridget's disastrous television interview, for example, underscored the real-world consequences of her chaotic personal decisions. Paul Brook, currently 81, has had a long and recognized career as a character actor in British film and television, often portraying bureaucratic or eccentric figures in productions such as The Phantom of the Opera. His portrayal of Mr. Fitzherbert perfectly captured the absurd, stuffy atmosphere of the traditional London workplace that Bridget was desperate to escape or transform. Colin Firth portrayed Mark Darcy, the reserved, outwardly aloof, yet deeply honorable human rights barrister, who eventually becomes Bridget's true love, starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. Firth was 40 years old when he took on the role that cemented his status as one of the most iconic romantic leads in modern cinema. Mark Darcy was characterized by his impeccable tailoring, his professional success, his immense integrity, and his social awkwardness, often appearing cold or judgmental due to his emotional guardedness. His life was defined by a highly successful and principled legal career, fighting for human rights causes around the world, which instilled in him an exceptionally high moral standard, making him initially disdainful of the frivolous social conventions that preoccupied Bridget. The character is famously a modern-day reinterpretation of Fitzwilliam Darcy from Jane Austen's Pride and Prejudice, a role Firth had previously made iconic in the 1995 BBC adaptation. His arc revolves around overcoming his own reserved nature and prejudices to see and appreciate Bridget's genuine chaotic heart beneath her insecurities, culminating in his dramatic decision to pursue her. Colin Firth, currently 65, achieved global stardom through this role, and its sequels later winning an Academy Award for The King's Speech. His portrayal perfectly captured the complexity of a man whose quiet devotion and unwavering loyalty were far more valuable than the superficial charm of his rival Daniel Cleaver. Shirley Henderson played Jude, one of Bridget Jones's two closest and most fiercely loyal friends, a vital member of the supportive trio that anchored Bridget's chaotic life, starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. Henderson was 35 years old when she took on the role of the emotionally dramatic and demonstrative friend. Jude was instantly characterized by her intense loyalty, her quick, often hilariously tearful emotional responses to Bridget's relentless stream of romantic disasters, and her own parallel, chaotic navigation of the turbulent London dating scene, frequently commiserating with Bridget and Shazza over copious amounts of wine and cigarettes. Her life, much like Bridget's, was deeply rooted in the shared universal experience of being single and searching for meaningful connection in London during their 30s, navigating low-level jobs, professional disappointments, and a series of relationship failures, which forged the unbreakable, tight, supportive bond with her friends that formed the foundation of Bridget's emotional stability and resilience. Jude, alongside Shazza, formed the protective, witty, and highly functional trio that provided Bridget with the necessary comic relief, brutal honesty, and unwavering support she desperately needed to survive her tumultuous year, caught between the seductive Daniel Cleaver and the honorable Mark Darcy. Henderson's performance expertly captured the necessary blend of emotional melodrama and genuine unconditional compassion that defined the group's enduring dynamic. Shirley Henderson, currently 59, is a highly respected Scottish actress with a long and versatile career, known for her compelling roles in productions such as Trainspotting and her memorable, unusual performance as Moaning Myrtle in the Harry Potter film series. Her portrayal as Jude was absolutely vital in underscoring the film's core message that true non-judgmental friendship is the most reliable source of stability and strength amidst life's inevitable chaos. Hugh Grant portrayed Daniel Cleaver, Bridget's charming, witty, and ultimately unfaithful boss and primary romantic interest at the chaotic start of the film, starring in Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. Grant was 41 years old when he took on the iconic role. Daniel Cleaver embodied the quintessential witty, flirtatious, and effortlessly suave archetype, initially captivating Bridget entirely with his smooth manners, shared sense of humor, and professional proximity. His life before the events of the film was characterized by substantial professional success in the publishing industry and a notorious history as a serial womanizer defined by emotional avoidance and a privileged background that allowed him to manipulate personal situations with charm and minimal lasting consequences, effectively establishing him as the exciting but fundamentally flawed bad boy choice. Daniel Cleaver served as Bridget's exciting yet utterly toxic romantic foil to the reserved honor and moral integrity of Mark Darcy, setting up the entire central emotional and comedic conflict of the story. His constant betrayal, emotional unavailability, and professional opportunism were the core reasons Bridget was eventually forced to confront her own destructive dating patterns and recognize the crucial difference between superficial, fleeting excitement and genuine reciprocal affection. Hugh Grant, currently 65, was already a global star, known for his charming roles in romantic comedies such as Four Weddings and A Funeral in Notting Hill. His performance as Daniel Cleaver expertly utilized his signature charismatic persona, while brilliantly subverting it with clear layers of selfishness and emotional immaturity, creating a complex, engaging, and highly necessary antagonist love interest. James Callis portrayed Tom, one of Bridget Jones's closest friends, and an integral member of her crucial, supportive trio, starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. Callis was 30 years old when he took on the supportive role. Tom was characterized by his witty commentary, his unwavering loyalty, and his role as a crucial emotional confidant to Bridget, often mediating the dramatic advice given by Jude and Shazza. His life, much like Bridget's, was rooted in the search for professional success and personal stability in London, indicating a shared set of anxieties and ambitions that made him a highly empathetic and reliable source of comfort for Bridget. Tom's presence as a male confidant provided a different, often more nuanced perspective on Bridget's romantic turmoil than the exclusively female commiseration offered by Jude and Shaza, enriching the group dynamic. He was instrumental in providing the practical and emotional infrastructure that helped Bridget navigate her tumultuous year, caught between Daniel Cleaver and Mark Darcy. James Callis, currently 54, achieved widespread fame later in his career for his critically acclaimed role as Dr. Gaius Baltar in the science fiction series Battlestar Galactica. His performance as Tom was essential in completing Bridget's trio of protective friends, underscoring the vital theme that chosen friendships are the strongest defense against personal and professional chaos. Felicity Montague portrayed Perpetua, Bridget Jones's sharp-tongued, highly organized, and notoriously condescending colleague at the publishing house, starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary 2001. Montague was 41 years old when she took on the role of the professional rival. Perpetua was characterized by her snobbish attitude, her impeccably tailored wardrobe, and her frequent, subtly cruel, sharp remarks directed at Bridget, often concerning her lack of professional ambition or her messy personal life. Her life was firmly dedicated to professional advancement and social climbing, establishing her as an ambitious, status-conscious figure who viewed the workplace as a battleground, and Bridget's disorganized approach as a personal offense, making her the perfect foil. Perpetua's constant critical presence provided both sharp comic relief and a constant annoying contrast to Bridget's down-to-earth, albeit chaotic personality. She represented the sleek, unforgiving ideal of the successful London woman that Bridget was constantly trying and hilariously failing to live up to. Felicity Montague, currently 65, is a well-known British actress, famous for her roles in comedy series, particularly her long-running role as Alan Partridge's assistant Lynn Benfield. Her skilled portrayal of Perpetua added a necessary layer of subtle workplace cruelty and provided a continuous source of external pressure on Bridget's self-esteem. Embeth Davidtz played Natasha, the elegant, accomplished, and highly sophisticated woman who served as Mark Darcy's steady girlfriend for much of the film, starring in Bridget Jones's Diary 2001. Davidtz was 36 years old when she took on the pivotal supporting role. Natasha was primarily characterized by her effortless poise, impeccable style, and professional achievement, making her the perfect embodiment of the romantic competition that Bridget felt utterly incapable of measuring up to. Her life was rooted in high-achieving professionalism, social confidence, and a seemingly flawless personal history, establishing her as an ideal partner who effortlessly met all the social and emotional standards that the reserved Mark Darcy was presumed to seek in a mate, serving as a profound and painful contrast to Bridget's messy, chaotic charm. Natasha's presence was vital to the narrative, providing a clear, visually arresting figure of sophistication against whom Bridget's perceived flaws, her messy apartment, smoking, drinking, and weight concerns were constantly measured, profoundly fueling Bridget's deep-seated insecurities and her subsequent flawed resolve for self-improvement. Her character was the primary hurdle in the ultimate reconciliation between Bridget and Mark, representing the idealized perfection Mark had to consciously look past to see Bridget's genuine heart. Embeth Davidtz, currently 60, has had a consistent career in both blockbuster films and critically acclaimed dramas, known for roles in Schindler's List and Matilda. Her controlled, elegant portrayal underscored the powerful romantic and societal expectations that Bridget ultimately had to challenge and overcome to find happiness on her own terms. Sally Phillips portrayed Shaza, the other core member of Bridget Jones's protective, witty, and supportive trio of best friends, starring prominently in the film Bridget Jones's Diary 2001. Phillips was 31 years old when she took on the role of the outspoken and fiercely protective friend. Shaza was characterized by her sharp, pragmatic wit, her highly assertive and often cynical approach to life and dating, and her unwavering immediate willingness to deliver brutal truths and swift, righteous judgment upon anyone who dared to wrong Bridget, most notably the duplicitous Daniel Cleaver. Her life was defined by a similar shared struggle of balancing career aspirations and personal relationships in the competitive environment of London, but her more assertive, independent, and often cynical personality provided a necessary strong contrast to Bridget's self-deprecating and often passive nature, establishing her as the most outspoken and fiercely protective member of the group. Shazza's role alongside Jude was critical in providing the necessary external commentary, active intervention, and emotional resilience that helped Bridget survive the dramatic peaks and troughs of her love life. Sally Phillips, currently 55, is a highly recognizable and successful British comedic actress, famous for her work in various sketch comedy shows and television projects, including Smack the Pony and her later recurring role in the American political satire, Veep. Her performance as Shazza was integral to the thematic success of the film, providing essential humor and strongly bolstering the powerful theme that female friendship is the most resilient, enduring, and unconditionally honest force against the pressures of modern single life and society's often unfair expectations. Honor Blackman played Penny Husbands Bosworth, a friend from Bridget Jones's extended family and social circle, who appeared primarily during the awkward, tradition-bound social gatherings of the home counties, starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. Blackman was 76 years old when she took on the role of the established, sophisticated socialite. Penny was characterized by her glamorous, slightly aristocratic air, her high social standing, and her participation in the collective social scrutiny directed at Bridget. Her life before the film was marked by a highly distinguished and celebrated career in the entertainment industry. But within the film's context, she represented the older, more socially established generation whose expectations about marriage and life stages formed a silent pressure on Bridget, lending a comic sophistication to the often embarrassing events. Penny's presence contributed to the film's clever satire, highlighting the generational gap between Bridget's chaotic independence and the prescribed orderly lives expected by her parents' friends. Honor Blackman had a long and globally recognized career, achieving international fame for her iconic roles, most notably as Pussy Galore in the James Bond film Goldfinger and as Kathy Gale in the television series The Avengers. Sadly, Honor Blackman passed away on April 5, 2020, at the age of 94 due to natural causes. Her performance brought a touch of classic British glamour and star power to the ensemble cast, reinforcing the film's detailed and humorous depiction of English middle-class social rituals. Salman Rushdie appeared as himself, Salman Rushdie, in a brief and humorous cameo role during a publishing party scene within the narrative of the film Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. Rushdie was 54 years old when he made the unexpected appearance. His presence was instrumental in satirizing the highbrow, often pretentious nature of the London publishing world where Bridget briefly worked. His life before the film was of course defined by his status as a world-famous, controversial author, celebrated for his complex literary works, whose public profile lent instant literary prestige and a touch of intellectual celebrity to the otherwise mundane office party setting, underscoring the gap between Bridget's reality and her professional aspirations. The humor of his cameo arose from the profound awkwardness of Bridget trying to navigate the crowded room and her slightly starstruck reaction to seeing such a literary figure in person, a moment that contributed perfectly to the film's theme of social anxiety and her feeling of not belonging. Rushdie's willingness to participate in the lighthearted rom-com added a layer of surprising realism and self-deprecating wit to the cinematic adaptation. Salman Rushdie, currently 78, has maintained his status as a literary titan and a significant cultural figure, continuing to produce highly regarded works and engaging in public discourse. His memorable, if brief, appearance helped ground Bridget's professional environment in recognizable London literary circles, while powerfully reinforcing the high-stakes, confusing social milieu. She constantly struggled to conquer a scene that subtly satirized the very intellectual world it represented. Lisa Barbutia played Lara, the glamorous, confident, and highly alluring American girlfriend of Daniel Cleaver, who appeared during the chaotic midsection of the film Bridget Jones's Diary, 2001. Barbutia was 30 years old when she took on the pivotal, albeit brief, role. Lara was instantly characterized by her striking looks, her effortless confidence, and her easy command of social situations, making her the embodiment of a new form of romantic competition that posed a significant threat to Bridget's tentative emotional connection with Daniel. Her life was likely rooted in the high-stakes, image-conscious world of modeling social events or early-stage acting, establishing her as a self-assured cosmopolitan figure whose very presence underscored the immense distance between Bridget's messy, self-deprecating reality and the flawless exterior often expected in a London professional's partner. Laura's appearance served a crucial narrative purpose. She provided the tangible physical and emotional obstacle that forced Bridget to realize the true shallow nature of her relationship with Daniel Cleaver. Her presence confirmed Daniel's serial infidelity and acted as the catalyst for Bridget's definitive break, from him pushing her toward the necessary next phase of self-discovery and eventually toward Mark Darcy. Lisa Barbuccia, currently 54, had a career that spanned modeling, singing, and acting. Her brief but memorable portrayal effectively captured the external, superficial perfection that Bridget wrongly believed she had to achieve to be worthy of love, thereby highlighting the film's core theme of accepting one's imperfections. Jeffrey Archer appeared as himself. Jeffrey Archer, in a brief uncredited cameo role during a publishing party scene within the narrative of the film Bridget Jones's Diary 2001. Archer was 61 years old when he made the unexpected appearance. His presence was instantly recognizable to the British audience, lending a touch of meta-humor and notoriety to the event. His life before the film was and remains defined by a highly successful, prolific, and often controversial career as an author of best-selling popular fiction, combined with a high-profile political life that included significant public scandals, establishing him as a well-known complex figure in the media landscape. His cameo contributed significantly to the film's playful satirical depiction of the publishing industry, illustrating the blend of genuine literary talent and mainstream celebrity that populated the London literary scene. Archer's willingness to make a playful appearance in the film underscored the self-referential humor of the story. Jeffrey Archer, currently 85, continues his career as a best-selling novelist and public figure. His brief presence was a witty detail that further grounded the fictional world of Bridget Jones in the complex, occasionally scandalous reality of contemporary British culture. Neil Pearson portrayed Richard Finch, Bridget Jones's loud, opportunistic, and often highly inappropriate boss at the television company Sit Up Britain, starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary 2001. Pearson was 42 years old when he took on the supporting role. Finch was characterized by his aggressive ambition, his lack of moral boundaries, and his tendency toward loud, chaotic behavior, immediately providing a stark contrast to the stuffy environment of her previous publishing job. His life was defined by a ruthless climb up the ranks of television production, establishing him as an ambitious figure obsessed with ratings and sensationalism qualities that made him opportunistic in the extreme and completely indifferent to the ethical ramifications of his professional decisions. Finch's character served as a satirical commentary on the cutthroat and often exploitative nature of reality television and tabloid journalism, providing the setting for Bridget's most professionally successful yet personally chaotic phase. His inappropriate behavior, including his demands on Bridget for bizarre, humiliating reports, added significant comic and professional tension to her storyline. Neil Pearson, currently 66, has had a long and recognized career in British television, known for his roles in dramas and comedies such as Between the Lines and Drop the Dead Donkey. His performance as Richard Finch perfectly encapsulated the morally flexible, high-pressure environment that tested Bridget's professional resilience. Joan Blackham portrayed Shirley, another friend from Bridget Jones's extended social circle, who frequently appeared at the chaotic family events organized by Bridget's mother, Pamela, starring in the film Bridget Jones's Diary 2001. Blackham was 55 years old when she took on the recurring supportive role. Shirley was characterized by her presence within Pamela Jones's close social set, often found gossiping or participating in the dramatic social rituals of the home counties. Her life was firmly rooted in the local social environment, focused on the maintenance of appearances, the exchange of local gossip, and the participation in communal events, establishing her as a reliable figure in the backdrop of Bridget's familial world. Shirley's role was instrumental in contributing to the humorous and sometimes overwhelming chaos of the Jones family events, such as the turkey curry buffet, helping to create the sense of suffocating familial and social expectation that Bridget constantly struggled to evade. Joan Blackham, currently 79, had a consistent career in British film and television, often playing reliable matronly or social figures. Sadly, Joan Blackham passed away on September 8, 2020, at the age of 74 due to complications from Alzheimer's disease. Her performance, though in a small role, contributed to the film's richly detailed tapestry of supporting characters who collectively underscored the intense, often absurd social environment that dictated so much of Bridget's emotional turmoil. Who's your favorite character from Bridget Jones's Diary? It's always tough to say goodbye to beloved cast members who are no longer with us. How does that make you feel? Share your thoughts in the comments. If you're enjoying our content, be sure to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell to stay updated. We appreciate having you in our community.